Good morning. My name is David, and today I am running a session of Fellowship. Fellowship is a PBTA RPG by Jacob Randolph, and it is about fighting against the forces of oppression as a small band of heroic types. We're playing using the In Rebellion supplement, so we're focusing on kind of the scrappy rebels fighting against an evil empire type setup. In this, we're also specifically focusing on sort of like young adult, characters or young adult fiction characters, I should say, and that sort of She-Ra Avatar type space. So that's kind of what we're doing here today. We all met up as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing game community. There's a website at gauntlet-rpg.com. There'll be a link to that below. You can find out about everything we do, including playing games like these. We also have some podcasts. We have a monthly magazine with gaming-related stuff in it. So do check that out if you're interested. With that said, we'll get into things. I'm just going to quickly go around and ask my players to introduce both themselves and the character they'll be playing today. And we'll just have a quick recap on sort of what happened last time and get into things. So I'll go with the standard faithful character keeper order here. Oh, I should say as well, so my name's David. I use he, him pronouns. I'll obviously be running the game today. But yeah, Stephen, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little about Ossian.
Hey there, I'm Stephen, playing, I've been around here on the Gauntlet for, approaching about a year now, in a few months, I think. Tonight I am going to be playing, Ossian, he, him, and, Ossian is they're the exile, right? That's the name of the playbook, right? Yes, Ossian is an exile, former moon prince of the Empire before he ran out on that. Kind of feeling a bit bad about abandoning his younger brother now to his whole family situation. Pocket cat, still a thing. In case it ever comes up this session, just so you know, he has a cat in his pocket.
Awesome, thank you very much. And Alex, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little about Phaethon.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alex. He, him, or they, them pronouns. Been on the Gauntlet for, I guess, a couple years now. I'm playing the Harbinger, Phaethon, who also ran out on his duties and destinies, though he didn't, the only people he left behind were, like, evil wizards. And he doesn't want to be the Dragon Slayer, the prophesied Dragon Slayer, or something to that effect.
I mean, that so describes any high school reunion.
Right? Like, yeah, he's, kind of, he gets kind of teenagery about that. And he has a pocket eyeball bat, so not as cute. But.
Excellent. David, are you there at the minute? We seem to have lost David for a sec, but we will we will see him soon enough.
He'll just come back with 2 pairs of sunglasses just because he's now the bad boy of the Empire, who are the bad guys.
Yes, indeed. Cool. So yeah, last time we saw our intrepid heroes, we. Oh wait, there's something in the chat. I'm just going to check. There we go. Yeah, there's been a coffee-related incident. So yeah, we'll get Dave back in a moment. But yeah, the last time we saw our intrepid heroes, they were infiltrating the capital city of Umbra to find out more about the machinations of the Ordo Noctis, a cabal of evil wizards. They had, I should say, Kalliban had gone on a date with another Ordo Noctis apprentice, and from her had managed to acquire access to the Order's library in the capital city. Inside, they found out some information leading. Phaethon found some information about his past and reason, or past / future. It all gets a bit timey, I guess. But which he hid from the others, whilst they also discovered that the order was engaging in negotiations, we'll call it that for now, with a powerful dragon in the Ironspine Mountains, and had decided to set off and track that down. Track that dragon down. So where we're going to go today, I think, is we'll start with your journey out to the Ironspine Mountains. I will just give David another minute or so just to see if he's managed to contain the coffee, and if not, we can start off on our journey, and we'll kick things off from there.
And spending most of this morning like wasting my time really being overly obsessively like, no, I need to adjust this cell by this much on the spreadsheet, on the character, on the play aids I'm making in Google Docs.
Yeah, it's very much a rabbit hole that I can fall down. You sort of like start working on it, and yeah, it can just go on for a surprising amount of time, I always find.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Character keeper design.
Yeah, it's I hate to I hate to say it's kind of soothing, but there is just a sort of certain like mindless zen thing going on with just like fiddling about with it all. It's yeah, cool.
For sure. For as long as it is like working the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think I'll get you started on the travel anyway. Um, so I think the Ironspine Mountains are kind of um, on the not exactly on the periphery of the empire, not like on a border, but they're somewhat of a backwater, being a big mountain range. Um, uh, a few days' journey from the capital city. Um, there are paths and roads and the like up there. It's not entirely isolated, um, but you will need to take obviously some care to avoid being picked up by patrols. Um, and also just to generally make the journey okay. The little town you're headed for, which is essentially where the Lambent Stork, the Ordonoctus researcher you know to be up there, is based out of, is a town called Ingot. It's as the name might suggest, it's a sort of ironworking town, and that's ultimately your destination for this journey before you begin the next stage of the journey to search for the caverns of Grayscale himself. So yeah, we will go into our usual what do you call it? Our usual kind of travel montage mechanic. So I think people are familiar with this by now, but just as a reminder, if someone can set up a scene, someone can set up a scene to establish a challenge or an event or some other moment of interest on the journey, and then ask another player to respond to that, essentially to solve it or interact with it in some way. Then that person will set up the next scene and ask the next person, and so on, depending on when David manages to make his return. That it may be a little bit curtailed, this one, but we may as well get on with it. So yeah, does either of you have an idea for a scene you would like to start out with?
Yeah, I guess I have an idea. What dangerous thing what unexpected thing is mined from these mountains, and what dangers or opportunities does it pose to us, Phaethon?
It's an arcane crystal that it's used as like a conduit for sort of the moonlight magic. Once it's been refined and brought to like the larger settlements and such. It's very unstable in its raw form, though, and I think accidentally stumbling across like a mine or a large stockpile of this freshly mined crystal could cause any number of like explosion related incidents. I think it's like
thinking of Ragnite.
Yeah, it's basically like that. Yeah, no, I think it's. I think maybe it's like we're, taking a shortcut through a cave, and we end up accidentally collapsing the cave. I'm trying to think of a thing to ask, because that's all I got for that. Ossian, what, who's the resident of Ingot that comes to our aid? It's sort of the getting out of the collapsing tunnels, rock slides sort of incident that occurs.
I think it's three-armed Myrtle, which is like less impressive when you consider when she like explains that she used to be four-armed Myrtle. Like she's the head of the work crews in the mines that this used to be kind of a small operation, but it's increasingly been scaled up as the Empire has expanded its need for these crystals to fuel its like basic infrastructure.
So does she literally have three arms?
Yeah.
That not a metaphor? Sweet.
Like three big meaty arms. Good for hauling stuff around.
Yeah. Where's the third arm located? Is it like asymmetrical, where it's just like two on one side, or is it like she's got the third arm on the back or something?
Yeah, the people in this town just have arms. Like it's not that they like started out with having extra arm. It's just when you work around these crystals long enough, you just sort of end up with extra arms. And I think Myrtle, I think she has like a third one that's kind of growing out of like her back a bit. Still pretty useful. Like she can carry things both forward and backwards pretty easily.
Nice.
She's one of the lucky ones.
Awesome. So yeah, welcome back, David. We're just doing we've just been doing the little travel montage on the way to Ingot, which is the mining town up in the Ironspine Mountains, where Lambent Stork had been operating from. So yeah, what's been established on the journey here is that the as well as the metals that are mined out of the mountains here, there are also strange arcane crystals that act as sort of conduit for moonlight magic, which are in their raw form are kind of unstable and prone to occasional explosions and other adverse effects. They also have a sort of a mutating effect on the locals who are in frequent contact with them. After an explosion and a collapse in the mines, you were assisted by Three-Armed Myrtle, who is a three-armed woman who's a mine foreman here, and yeah, that's where we are at. Because we kind of ended up a little out of the sequence on that. Does anyone have another challenge they would like to throw at Kalliban before we make our way into Ingot?
Sure. What about the mountain miners does Kalliban find offensive to his capital sensibilities?
Kalliban doesn't understand why we haven't a skyship to open a moon portal. How you'll ever win this rebellion by traveling around on road near the common folk? It's just beyond him. I think he's trying to do it your way, but is becoming increasingly frustrated, especially now as a strange three-eyed woman is being friendly to us.
Well, she used to have forearms. So.
Awesome. So yeah, and the last little scene I will give you, this is will be shown as a sort of cut scene as you're coming into town. Well, I'll show you kind of how the town looks as you're coming into it. It's actually it's a sort of sizable town. It's built into a large valley in the mountains. A couple of large rivers flow down through it. Along the riverbanks are a number of foundries set up along it. There is, columns of thick black smoke pouring from the foundry chimneys. You can hear the sound of metal being worked all around you. Big heavy mechanical hammers at work in these foundries. The streets are there's lots of big stone buildings here, built much more for function than form. Everything is covered in a mixture of sort of dust from excavation mixed with soot from the foundries. The people are all dressed in fairly rugged clothing, and you'll notice that even for this place, people seem kind of there's just that air of what's the word I'm looking for? Exhaustion, I guess. People seem just kind of to be going about their business, not really paying much attention to what's going on around them, not really chatting much, that sort of thing. We'll get that kind of cutaway scene to the governor's mansion up on the hillside, overlooking the town, where a tall, thin man in sort of fine, elegant robes is stood by a couple of people sort of working on paperwork. There's boxes with coin inside all around that they're clearly counting. And he says, "Do come on. We must find some way of extracting more worth from this place. If I am to improve my my political standing once we return to the capital, I shall need more. I shall need as much cash as we can get our hands on for the for the necessaries, and he'll kind of go and sort of look, stood out on the go out onto the balcony as he sort of puts his hands, which have ornate golden rings on all the fingers, on the stone balustrade of the balcony, as he looks down over the town below. And with that, you will you'll make your way into town. Probably at this point, still being led by Myrtle. And I think she's kind of chatting to you as you come in. And so what brings three lads like you all the way out here to Ingot.
Oh, just...
Can I establish? Are we in disguise or are we not in disguise? I think it's probably important to the fiction. Like, have we all turned up looking like ourselves? Has Kalliban dressed you as military imperial officers? Is Kalliban one of his cunning disguises?
I like the idea that neither of us are in disguise, but Kalliban just has this elaborate disguise followed up behind us.
And it's like, what
That
was
seems quite
the story
Kalliban,
again?
Kalliban is. I'll come up with an incredible backstory as we think. Don't worry. But Kalliban has taken out another one of his porcelain masks, put it on, and is in disguise.
Cool.
So, Myrtle, a lot of people got extra arms around here, huh?
It's you spend too much time bringing out the moonstone, and it does strange things to folk.
Oh yes, I mean, sometimes I have 4 legs. It's understandable.
Strange things besides extra arms, or?
Mostly it's the extra arms. You get the occasional tail and stuff, but no, it seems to be arms is the big thing.
It's convenient.
Kalliban puts his arm around Phaethon and says, "Do not worry, my friend often has 2 faces."
Phaethon just kind of blinks and is like, "Yup."
So, I hope it's not terribly rude to ask, but is your other face an improvement on this one, or?
My other face, you would go mad if you ever laid eyes on it.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things then.
It's one of those faces. Not meant for.
I'm sorry, Myrtle. He does. Sorry. Sorry, that was just phone ringing. He does tend to he does tend to answer a lot of questions with "You would go mad if I answered."
Well, you would go mad if I gave you a real answer. So.
I
It's
mean,
true.
you're proving my point, but go ahead.
To do. This morning he made the breakfast, and we asked what was in the porridge, and he proclaimed, "You would go mad if you knew the answer."
Really, really endearing ourselves to this Myrtle lady.
Yeah, and I think she kind of looks a little nonplussed, but at the same time kind of laughs along, and says, "Well, whatever brings you here, I hope if there's anything you need, just give us a shout. I can show you around town a bit if you want, or if not, feel free to wander around, and I'm sure you'll manage to work it all out yourself."
I think Kalliban leads over to Ossian and said, "Why are we staying here? We have..." Points to the mountains in the distance and say, "I don't understand. There is work to be done."
Because Sibylla needed to travel to the spirit realm in order to commune with her mother, and I don't know if you want to go and meet with the dragons when the one dragon in our group is absent.
Also, my feet hurt.
But you always say that. We usually walk another mile or two before we actually start listening to you.
Yeah, my feet hurt like a mile ago.
Yeah, in a mile or two, we will stop.
Let's
So-
head to the town and find minions who will massage your feet.
So, are we just supposed to, like, ignore him when he says things like that, or...
I kind of take Phaethon to the side a bit. Look, he and I have an upbringing, to put it politely, and
We all got upbringings.
yes, but I mean, you weren't infused with the power of darkness like he was. You just are darkness, so...
Well, thanks.
See, a three-legged arm who could massage your feet and your back at the same time. He was my favorite when I was growing up. He was also extremely good when we would play tennis.
Nobody is going to touch my feet.
Down at the
Idea.
metaphorical stink lines and go, a fair and noble choice.
Changing the subject. While we're here, that mine seems like it's fairly important and profitable, and in terms of providing resources to the Empire.
It's one of many that provides moon crystals that we use to light the streets and the ways. Once they are polished and shaped, they are of great use. People's livelihood, in fact, the existence of this very town is due to the crystals.
I think that I'd agree that we should figure out this, take a look at the mines. If besides anything else, while we're waiting for Sibylla, this is an opportunity to and I kind of again take Phaethon off to the side a bit, seize control of the mine for the rebellion, and then we to make friends, I say loudly.
Oh, that's way better than what I was thinking, which was just to destroy it.
I know that we've been doing that a lot, but that amazingly that is an alternative.
Well, what can I say? I'm the darkness.
Awesome. So yeah, I'll give you kind of an overview of, as I say, it's a sort of moderately sized town. There's a few, there's lots of factories, and there's probably sort of barges working the waterways and various funicular railway type things, bringing stuff down from the higher mountain peaks and the like. There is like a kind of town hall type building, There are some various shops and the like, as well as some taverns. He said you will notice. You said a lot of the people do seem to have extra arms. Oddly coloured hair, various other markers of strange effects from the moon crystals.
Yeah, but oddly colored hair could just also mean there are a lot of punks in town or something.
That too. You will notice there is actually a surprising sort of Legion presence in the town. They seem to be mostly just sort of doing guard duty and the like, but they do seem to be particularly like they seem to be more alert and more wary than you might expect for a sort of relative backwater, even one that has like technically what's the word I'm looking for, like strategic importance. It's it's like, yes, it does obviously provide material and stuff, but it also, the Empire isn't actively at war at the minute or anything like that. So there does seem to be just that level of tension in the air. Ooh, and in fact, that does remind me that I will. Okay, you're fine for the moment. No, you aren't immediately recognised by the sort of the Imperial troops here as you're going around.
Phaethon puts his hood up anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, there definitely seems to be a kind of an alert Legion presence here. That is something that you will pick up on quite quickly as you're heading around. But yeah, is there anything in particular that you would like to look into or do immediately?
I mean, yeah, I would like to seek out the leader of this town because I do get to basically always get hospitality from the leaders of places.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, you will. Listen, you will be able to head to the town hall where the there is a if you ask to be like put in asked to see the mayor, there'll be a kind of a bit of it won't take long to have for you to get an appointment with him. He's like busy, but not in a sort of like having lots of scheduled meetings kind of way. He'll you'll eventually be shown to him. His name is his name is Mayor Stonecliffe. He's he's quite a tall man, quite broad. Definitely looks like he might have been a miner in his day. He's got a pair of big burly arms crossed across the front of his somewhat large paunch, and he also has a couple of slightly more slender arms that he is taking notes with as he as he's sort of chatting with you, and he says, "Well, good day to you. My name's Mayor Alf Stonecliffe. Do take a seat." He'll just sort of some chairs in front of his desk. So, who do I have the pleasure of meeting, and what brings you here to Ingot?
Well, this is out of character. I would say for someone to do this would be pretty stupid. But this is a young adult resistance show, so
Exactly, yeah.
I am Ossian, former Moon Prince, now of the Resistance. I've come here to meet with you and see what aid we can provide.
I'm Phaethon. I'm just a guy.
Well,
I am Sky O'Connor, botanist.
Yep. I nod my head.
well,
What do you think of local plant life, Sky?
Oh, now he's gonna lecture us.
I think probably let's frame this that Ossian knows the foolhardy mistake that Phaethon has just made and covers Kalliban's mouth before he goes into a 20-minute well-prepared lecture on the sunflowers of the area.
You tasted his croissants, remember.
I didn't think you would actually have a lecture prepared.
But yeah, he will say, "Well, we're not looking to have any trouble here in this town. But if you keep yourself discreet, I'm sure we can find somewhere to put you up while you're here." And he will kind of get up and close the door to his outer office before coming back down, sit in the chair, and he'll say, "We've been having some trouble recently with the governor. He's been increasing the taxes, increasing the trade levies on everything moving through this town. We've had to up shifts and work harder and harder to meet the quotas to make what we need. Now, I'm fairly certain that he is skimming off the take for his own personal use, you understand. So if you can do something about him, get him out of here, it would make our lives a lot easier. And I'm sure we could come to an arrangement with your people that would benefit you. We've no love for the Empire here. They see us only as a resource to be exploited for what they need out of us.
Yeah, and I guess, is it possible for me to make a roll with Speak Softly here?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Pum, pum. Okay, let's see what I get here. Let's see, I'm rolling plus wisdom. And I think I re-rolled. I'm not sure. I think it went through. So let's see. I got a 7 plus. I believe my wisdom is still at 2, so that it's a 9.
Yep, sure thing. So, I believe with Speak Softly, that means that I think you always get to ask 3 questions. I think a 7 to 9 means that I can be unhelpful or unclear or complicate one of the responses.
So I guess I do want to know, what can they tell us about the mines? What should I be wary of when dealing with them? And, well, I can let you answer one by one, or I can just give you all 3 questions now if you want.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do them one by one. But you know, if so,
those
yeah.
are the 2 that immediately are apparent to me.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'll start off with the what you should be wary of when dealing with them, and that is, yeah, I think definitely the impression that you get. So the mayor is he doesn't he's in no way a kind of zealous supporter of the rebellion. He does he's essentially a fairly he's more concerned with them being able to carry on business as normal rather than having a huge axe to bear with the empire. He absolutely he will help and he will support you, but you do think there is a possibility that if push came to shove, he might sell you out.
Yeah.
He definitely does want to. He's definitely dislikes this current governor, and he has no. The other thing as well, I'll give on that, is that he has no. Likewise, he has no particular abiding loyalty to the empire either. But obviously, yeah. the empire is much more. The empire is already in a position in power, so it's the much easier side to side with if he were forced to. So you think that at the minute he will support you, he will help you, but if push came to shove, he might sell you out. That's obviously subject to change, but that's certainly at the moment with his dealings with you. That's sort of where he's coming from. Yeah, but what he will tell you about the mines, he'll say, yeah, well, there's mines all through the mountains around here. We produce the finest the finest, purest iron and subsequently steel that can be found within the empire. We also have numerous moon crystal deposits around, which also help supplement what we do here. Moon crystals dangerous. The mines are unstable as a result. That we can make some money off of them is a good thing. That they're useful, I understand, for the empire as a whole, but obviously they do have odd effects on us. Exactly why they do, we don't know, but it's something our people have always lived with, always put up with, and it's and he kind of does like a sort of four-armed shrug there. I guess it's part of who we are.
See, all of his forearms not as impressive as Myrtle's 3.
As I say, the mines can be dangerous as a result, can be unstable. We do our best to keep things as safe as we can, but there are always accidents, and they've been growing in more frequency recently as we've had to work quicker to, as I said, to fulfill our quotas.
I would like to take this opportunity to quick command lore about the future.
Yeah, go for it.
And I think Phaethon looks like back towards like out the window towards one of the mines further up the mountain, and he gets a brief vision, just a brief flash of a very large explosion.
Awesome.
Like in that area.
So, I mean, is that really prophecy, or is it just faith and daydreaming about what he'd like to happen?
You know, is little column A, little column B.
Yeah. I think if you bring that up, Ossian is going to be a little bit skeptical of that prophecy in particular.
Yeah, he's not bringing it up. It's like, I think actually basically once he has, like, he actively, sort of the vision starts, and I think it would continue, but he actively, like, tries to cut it off.
Because, I mean, I think you've already pulled the I have a prophecy that you're going to get us ice cream on me before.
And did it work?
Like the first 2 times.
But no. This one, Phaethon, I think, is, one, like, basically tries to shut his eyes to it before he can see anymore, and 2 is, I think, keeping that to himself for now.
Yeah, and out of character, how far are we from like where we're going with these dragons? Like, are they just up at this top of the peak of the mountain, or are we like still a good journey away?
It's probably like a couple of days journey still to where the site where the actual site itself is. It is kind of in the deep deep mountains doesn't sound quite right, but
because like I guess I am interested in knowing if this town has like what can they tell us about the dragons? Like, do the dragons have relations with this town, or are they seen in the vicinity of the town ever? Like, if I'm just curious if that's a thing that there would be an answer to here.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'll say there are stories of dragons living in these mountains. We've not seen one in my lifetime, certainly. Some say that the reason for the reason that we have such good iron here in the mountains is it's the bones of dragons that have come before. Whether there's any truth to that, I can't say, but definitely there's stories of dragons being up here in these mountains. There was a fella through here a few weeks ago who was asking similar things about the stories here. He was staying up with the governor last I knew of him. One of those wizard types with the mask and all. He was asking all about the dragons, and well, I told him what I told you. Where there's plenty of stories about them, and we do always. One of our customs is to say a few words of thanks to the dragons before we sink a new mine shaft. It's said they can control the earth, create earthquakes, all that sort of thing. So always good to keep them happy, as it were. But no, as I say, we've not if they're more than old wives' tales, I couldn't tell you. But they're certainly we believe the old stories, even if we've not seen any dragons ourselves.
So, what's a wizard doing here?
I couldn't tell you, lad. What he, as I say, he said he was asking about these dragons. He was going around asking people around town about them before he, as I say, I think he was staying up with the governor, but I heard he was making some kind of expedition out into the higher peaks. Had a few folk from town to go out there and help him get stuff set up. It's some the higher up, obviously, you get here. We're in a nice valley, got nice roads still, but you get much further up from here, and there's much more climbing to be done.
This wizard give a name?
What were it now? Lambent Stalk, I think he said it were.
Those wizards and their names. Am I right?
It's a rare name, it is at that, but I suppose at least it's easy to remember.
Out of character, I know you mentioned Lambent Stork earlier, and I know we heard the name before, but I do not remember.
That's Nepta's father.
Right.
I said the person was sent out here to investigate the dragons.
All right.
Cool. So, did you have any further requests for the mayor whilst you're still here? Anybody?
Free food.
Oh yes. What he will say is, I said, "Oh, there's a little hut up just outside of town, up on the west slopes. My family used to use it for as a for when we worked one of the mines out there that's used up now. But you're welcome to stay there. I'll have my boy come up with some food for you and some supplies. Obviously, as I say, you're welcome to come into town and look around as much as you like. I do ask that you, as I say, try not to cause any problems for us. But if there's anything else you need, just let me know, and I'll see what we can do.
I think Kalliban stands. He's got that imperious look in his eyes, and he's looking over at this guy. And there's this moment where it looks like he might be about to do something difficult, and then produces a map and says, "There is a lily pond with moon lilies here in the village. You will tell me where it is. I'm a botanist. I've come to see it."
Oh, that's up at the actually not far from where that hut is. It's before the river comes into town. There's a water mill up there. It's there's a lot of those moon lilies grow up on the mill pond there.
You are most kind.
Think nothing of it, lad. Think nothing of it. Cool. So I think we'll call our first break there. If we say to come back at past, yeah, we'll pick things up there to see where we want to go next. Cool. So yeah, see you all in a moment. Awesome. Right. So we're back again, and where were we? Yes. So I'll just quickly frame you in. You'll be in this kind of, I mean, it's a small stone house, nothing particularly fancy, but it's clean and well kept. A young man of similar ages to yourselves. He has he currently just has the regular 2 arms going on. He's kind of got messy dark hair. He's dressed in similar clothes to most of the other townsfolk, kind of just fairly well wearing sort of tough trousers, big boots. He has brought some bread and cheese and fruits and the like in a big basket, which he deposits in the on the table in this little hut, and he says, "Hey, my name's Shale. If there's anything you want, anything you need, you can come and find me down in the town." It's nice to meet you, and I hope. Well, I hope that you find what you need here.
Of course, Shale, I'm Phaethon, I say, and I hold up my hand and smile.
Yeah, he'll shake you by the hand and grin back. And I think, and he sort of will say, I mean, there's a few of us younger folk who've been, we don't want to grow up like our parents and our grandparents, just forced to work down in these mines with nothing else, no way else out. If you can help us, then we'll do what we can as well.
I think that I kind of say, of course, I'd if any of you and your friends would like to meet sometime, I'd be more than willing to talk with them.
Of course, we can set something up, I'm sure.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Shale.
Thank you. And he'll sort of nod and he'll kind of scamper off down the path back to the town.
Can't you come up with your own fake name instead of taking mine?
That was a misspeak on my part.
Okay,
sorry.
Okay.
I had meant to say Ossian. Sorry.
Okay. Funny either way.
I think I just got so used to calling myself, I think for some reason I started calling myself Phaethon in that last episode where we were all pretending to be each other.
Your fake name should be Flossian.
I mean, it sounds a little bit too much like a dental appliance. A bit like how I don't call you Toothbrush Thon.
No, that's not nearly as good, and I think you know it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have cunning disguises and false identities for all of us. If only you would put more effort in.
My identity is already false. Chill out.
Still, There is trouble here in this town. A corrupt imperial official. I've never heard of such a thing. They must be dealt with.
This guy's serious?
Ossian kind of gives you the kind of slight nod.
Biting my tongue.
An abuse of power when you have been given the right to rule? No. I will deal with this one.
These kinds of abuses of power are abuses that occur all across the Empire, Kalliban, not just here.
Then I will deal with all of them.
How?
You've seen his
And
faces,
now
Phaethon.
there is a corrupt official muddying and dirtying the name of the Empire and the unity we bring.
It's not muddying the name of the Empire, dude. It is the name of the Empire. The official isn't special.
Forgive me if I do not take lessons of honor and service from one such as you, Harbinger.
Oh, what's that? Oh. Well, why don't you elaborate on that? I think we'd all love to hear you elaborate on that statement.
It is clear that the corruption in this empire flows from your infernal order. And it is your heritage, and this order is struck out of the world, the better.
You'll get no
being an
argument from me
exception,
on that.
obviously,
But
you are a good guy.
no argument from me there. But it's not just the order. It's not the order's fault that the Empire sucks.
And that is where it comes to the difference between both you and I, Phaethon. I am willing to take responsibility for what my people do and adjust their course of action. And I think Kalliban storms out to go and find the gave to him, David, of the city, of the town. Was it the magistrate?
Yeah. So the governor has a mansion sort of above the town, and probably on like the other side of the valley to where you are currently.
Governor, yeah. So I'm going to go and see Kalliban is going to leave to deal. Have a nice conversation with the governor.
Excellent. I think I'm also going to. Invoke. What you call it? The bonds that break us there. And actually, no, I don't think that went quite as far enough to actually harm each other emotionally. I think that was more par for the course. So no, ignore what I just said. I
don't even have a bond with.
Fair enough. So there we go.
We do keep though.
I'd be happy to make a bond, and it's like I hate this guy.
I think we do eat though, and now that Kalliban has walked out, we both just kind of look at Caliban's plate, and we just kind of like grab the food off of it and eat it.
You do. Phaethon says, I know we're trying to be nice and all, Ossian, but I'm gonna hurt him.
Yeah, I think actually I think actually you're right. Actually, I think that I think that probably forging a bond there actually kind of makes sense, because whilst it was an adversarial encounter, I also think it was like Kalliban was essentially saying that yeah, you know.
I forget, how many bonds are you allowed to have on the rest of the party though?
I think with the Harbinger, the restriction is on like on an individual basis, so you can only have one. So
okay,
yeah, I started out with like
okay.
I started out with only like 2. I only get 2 bonds to start
Right.
out. But I can have as many bonds as I just can't ever have more than 1 bond, and they can never have more than 1 bond.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No. I put down my bond.
Perfect.
My bond with Kalliban is I hate him so much.
And if you don't already have a bond with Phaethon Kalliban, you can take one, but you can only have 1 on him. So
I think I already do, but let me just double check.
Yeah. You want to bring me to your cruel master, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, mechanically, I should note that we are filling our belly, right, David?
Yeah, that is correct. So with the fill your belly move, you can heal 1 damage if you have any. If you're sharing a meal with friends, one of you can heal 1 extra point of damage.
I think Phaethon is going to sulk and say he's not hungry.
Okay.
So he's not going to heal.
Only I'm going to heal then, and I can't. I'm not sharing it with anybody, and turning into a giant wolf takes a lot out of Ossian. It's one of his more embarrassing quirks. He just kind of is just like, oh, well, all right then, and I just kind of like try not to like make a thing of it, but I also kind of pull your plate over in front of me.
But seriously, he keeps talking.
Look, I don't mean to say any to be too hard on my brother, but outside of making fancy disguises for himself, he is a little bit stupid. You have to understand.
I think the laughter is in character too. It's just, yeah, he really is. He sucks though. I'm sorry, but he sucks.
Look, my mom did awful things to him, and I walked out on that, and I can't just abandon him and treat him as a lost cause, Phaethon.
I hate it when I don't have a good argument anymore.
That's okay, Phaethon. If you had a comeback right now, I'm sure it would be very clever.
It would be biting.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I would respond with a very poor pun. I'm sure.
Sounds about right.
Awesome. And I think we'll cut away there to see Kalliban making his approach, or making their approach on the governor's mansion. How does that look, Kalliban?
Caliban is in full disguise with his bottomless bag, straw hat, apothecary look, and will knock on the door. Says, I am here to see the governor. I wish to discuss matters of botany with them.
And do you have an appointment, sir?
Says, Caliban is sort of, I think, probably, no, I do not have an appointment.
The governor is very busy, sir. The person answering the door is obviously in entirely incongruous butler outfit, but yeah, and it says the governor is very busy. They have important matters to deal with. May I ask why you are here, and I will see if he is able to fit any time into his very, very busy schedule.
See this moment of cogs turning in Caliban's mind. Then he turns, looks at the guy at the door. His eyes glow white, and we see this sort of guy disappear down into a pillar of salt. And I'm just using out of my way, which is one of the redeemed moves. So something is standing, you knock it aside and stroll past it. In fact, sorry, I was thinking the redeemed word is slightly different, so I won't harm him, but I think he'll just push past and go, no, I'm very important. I'm here for the governor will definitely wish to see me. And he just sort of stroll straight past the guy in his way.
Excellent.
Forget that the redeemed moves are slightly less dark.
Yes.
But yeah, I think he'll just sort of push straight past him and say, oh, no, he'll want to see me. I am a botanist. I have flowers. And I think we'll just sort of leave a carnation with this guy and walk straight past.
Sure thing. Yeah. You will, as you'll just sort of like breeze through the estate. You'll find the governor with no difficulty. He is reclining on a chaise longue. He is, he has some sort of tea things arrayed on a table beside him as he's flicking through some essentially the like a sort of news sheet from the capital, and he kind of glances at you with a slightly incredulous look and says, excuse me, may I ask what you are doing here? I have no desire to be...
Terrible rumours that I have heard that you are acting in corruption of your responsibilities in service of the Empire. Surely this is not true.
I do not know who you have heard such nonsense from. I am doing my duty as seen by the as ordained by the Empress. I am putting these assets to their assigned purpose. I am increasing productivity here in this benighted valley.
Kalliban is used to the snivelling lies of lackeys and will speak at them, asking them once again, at this time maybe they should be more honest.
How? If you'd like to make the roll, which is with iron, I believe.
That is.
That one.
So that's a 9 all in all.
Cool. So yeah. So you get to ask two questions, though one of them might be a lie.
Mm-hmm. So I think the first thing is that I want to know what they are hiding. and I'll tell you the second question probably because then you can decide which is a lie. And I think I want to know. I want to know where is the wizard is the second question.
Certainly. So yeah, I think the he will say, I can assure you that all I do here is for the good of the Empire. The increased quotas are merely to match the demands of our people. I understand that the common folk of this town would have no true concept of the importance that the produce of this area is to the Empire, and of course they look only to line their own pockets. And that is why they balk at the additional work that is required of them. But as for the scholar, as for the wizard, yes, I know. He has been staying with me on and off for last few weeks. A cultured man, a nice change of pace for this backwater. I understand currently, though, he has returned to his expedition up in the high peaks. He says he has, well, if you will credit it, he says that he has been in communication with a dragon of all things. I scarce believe it myself, but, well, I suppose if he keeps sticking around, there must be some reason for it. The Ordo Noctis have always been very, very strange people. And so this is certainly possible. But yes, I know roughly where he might be found, and I think he's he will kind of stand from his chaise-longue and head over to his desk and flick through a few things and come back with a map up into the high peaks. It says I sent a few men with him to protect him in case of any unknown dangers up there in the mountains.
Wonderful. Now, about these people, it is clear that they feel that they cannot keep up with the efforts and the work that you are asking of them. Perhaps you should offer them a chance to move on and bring new workers in.
Perhaps that I shall bear it in mind. It would certainly, the people here have certainly grown fractious. They are agitating more, and it would certainly be easier to have some more docile labourers.
Good. Then we are in accord, and the people of this town. It is terrible. I can't remember, so I didn't know the name of the NPC who told us this stuff. But I'm going to say, well, So was so convinced that you were a force of corruption and evil. I can't imagine why they would say such things.
Yes. Well, thank you for bringing this to my attention. We cannot have rumours like this spread about.
Yeah, I think at that point, Kalliban is happy to see the scene. Move the spotlight.
Sure thing. Yeah, that sounds good. Ossian, Phaethon, did either of you have an approach that you would like to, or something you would like to do?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of attention on me in the
Sure.
first part, so I'd like to turn it over to Phaethon
Yeah,
first. If he has an
no
idea.
worries. Yeah.
I don't have any ideas at the moment. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of losing steam.
If you just want to go poking around the mines, like the wise wizard you are,
not a terrible idea.
I mean, somebody has to cause that explosion.
I mean, it doesn't happen to happen now. And I feel like Phaethon would actually probably want to avoid the mines for that reason. Because he doesn't want to be the one who causes that explosion.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just out of character. I'm running out of steam.
No worries. No, not a problem. Not a problem.
You can just move on if no one has anything. You can move into the ramifications, and maybe Kalliban learns a lesson. Who doesn't?
Yeah. No, that's cool. So yeah, I think you will be will cut back in, and this is maybe a little while later, maybe an hour or two later, when Shale will come running up to the hut in obvious distress. He'll just barge in through the door without announcing himself first, and he'll say, I don't know what's happened, but it's my dad. He's been seized by the governor's men. They've dragged him off to the camp. It all happened so suddenly. I don't know what they're doing with him.
All right, great. Some action. Let's bust him out.
We'll do everything we can to help Shale. I promise you.
Thank you. I can take you to where they'll have taken him.
I mean, we'll follow him. Well, I'll follow him.
Yeah, Phaethon will also follow. Is Kalliban still with the governor at this point?
This will be after Kalliban's meeting with the governor. Whether Kalliban has returned here or not, I live up to Dave, but yeah.
Probably at that point he would have gone and found the lilies and then returned. He's done some sketches of the lilies.
So yeah, we'll say Kalliban will either have been present when Shale arrived, or will be just coming back as you're heading out. As appropriate. But yeah, the Shale will take you. It's like just outside of town. There is like there is a sort of permanent structure here. It's nothing as grand as like an actual fort, but it's like a kind of like little garrison building. There are still tents and stuff set up outside. It's clear it's not big enough for like the entire detachment here. But yeah, there is a like I said, like a little fortified encampment here where the legion stay. He'll say, I assume they'll be keeping him inside the fort, but they just came and dragged him away.
I don't know, and nothing. And have they done this often?
Not often. Usually, only if people start, kicking up a fuss, causing problems. But my dad's always been careful. I don't think he's done anything that would. That would make them do this.
There is a literal clang as the penny drops and goes, "Oh," says Kalliban. "I think this is my fault."
What do you mean by that, Kalliban?
I went to confront the governor, and he assuaged me that they were thinking the interests of the people here. I explained to him where the rumours had started and ensured that he would be able to negotiate fairer working terms with the people here.
You can't really be this stupid, right? This is you being evil, because nobody could be that stupid.
Believe in the purpose of the tenets of the empire. We have kept these lands safe for generations. And it seems that some of the people here have rotted with the power and privilege that their position gives them.
Yeah, some of the people here.
Kalliban, I am going to go save someone that you have put into danger. I am. Phaethon, can you keep an eye on him for now? I'm not saying that you have to. This is just what I'm saying in character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take out my blade and draw it across my palm, and I'm unleashing my wolf, my light wolf form.
Howl if you need me.
Rough.
I'll babysit your brother.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go crashing in here, totally with a great plan, not just running in headfirst because I'm angry.
I mean, Phaethon was about to do that also, so you just got there first.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. So I'll just give you.
Are you okay?
Sorry, yeah, it was on the brink of sneezing, but I think it's passed.
Oh.
So yeah, I'll just give a brief setup here. So the outside the sort of stone building, stone garrison sort of building, there are some guards around, but it's not heavily guarded here. There are probably more inside as well, but we'll kind of deal with them as a more or less amorphous group. But yeah, I guess how does this look as you charge in? The guards here, I should say as well, I'll give you their stats. Are they're the standard Legion Imperial troops. In fact, we already have one set up. on there, so that their only stat is loyal to a fault. They will also the ones outside will have the group quality as well, which means there's a handful of them. Again, whether we'll actually go into the full mechanism on that, we'll see. But that's their sort of starting disposition. So yeah, I guess Ossian, how does it look as you launch your assault? And yeah, Phaethon, are you kind of joining in as well?
No, Ossian asked me to babysit Kalliban, and as much as Phaethon does not like that idea, he also does trust Ossian to get the job done and does recognize the need for somebody to babysit Kalliban.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I think that Ossian is angry, and that this is kind of like, it's more needlessly destructive than it usually is. Like, I think that this is, I'm not sure like what you would want me to roll with here in this situation. But that's kind of like, I am like I'm kind of imagining a little bit of like these kinds of like light slashes that form from like these like acrobatic like wolf dog leaps as I like do spins and whatnot, and like flick these like these kinds of like, in the anime, these kinds of like slashes appear like along the trail of my like tail flicks.
Awesome, that's great. So yeah, I think I'll let you go straight to finish them with that, because I think you have the element of surprise here. They are not expecting, they're probably on the lookout for like a group of villagers with pickaxes and coming out here and causing trouble, but they are not expecting a big glowy wolf to leap out of the
No one
bushes at
expects
them.
the wolf boy.
So yeah, this is a finish them. I guess it depends on exactly what your intent is.
It's gonna cause issues back at I think at the end of all this. But I think I'm fighting to destroy. Like, I think I'm rolling probably plus blood.
Yeah,
But
sure thing.
I never roll with despair on blood while I'm in my wolf form.
Yep, sure thing. So it will be a flat roll. So yep, that's cool. Yep, go for it.
And yep, I did curse myself, because I was just like, I'm sure I'll roll like double ones and be in a position to where people need to save me. I rolled 2 2s. My blood score is a 2, so that's a 6.
Oh.
Sure thing. So I think you charge in, and the you start to you sort of charge in towards them. They are taken aback, and they are shocked as you kind of as these flashes of light sort of like flash out from you towards them. But they're able to sort of mount a they're able to sort of mount a credible defense against it. I'll say and they raise the alarm, but at that point,
Yeah, I give a ho, because as Phaethon said.
Yeah, but at that point there will be a sudden like you'll feel a sudden tug. I mean, that's probably not quite doing it enough justice, but you feel like somebody's kind of reached into your skin and is just yanking on it, as a dark shadow envelops you, and you can feel that the light sort of being dragged out of you. It's incredibly painful, and it's like cold feeling, and I think you will be transformed back into your regular human form.
Yeah, and I think there's like a grrr that transforms into like someone panting.
And from up above, from like a one of the like not crenellations, one of the like arrow slit type things, I guess, up above, you will see the governor, and they're holding an odd they're holding a crystal of some description in their hand, but it's got like a roiling dark energy inside it. And he says, very good, very good. I shall have to commend the order on their little trinkets. Your head will bring a high price back in the capital, and maybe I'll get out of this hellhole a little faster. And he smiles down at you. But yeah, sorry, Phaethon.
Like, one, can I see like the governor from like outside the encampment where I'm babysitting Kalliban?
Yeah, you probably can't necessarily make out exactly who it is from there, but yeah, you can definitely see them and see you from the outside. From what you're seeing from the outside is you're seeing this figure like raise up, like I said, this sort of crystal object in their hand, and like a almost like a cloud of shadowy energy will have flown down and just sort of grasped at Ossian. It looks similar, though not identical, to the sort of things that Kalliban can pull off. Definitely related, yeah. If not.
And out of character, what is the governor's deal like stats wise?
Oh, yep, certainly. I will. In fact, the governor is a little bit special. Their stats are in fact secret. I will tell you though that they have. No, in fact, actually, I will give you one of their stats because I think that they have kind of I will not tell you. Sorry, words. One of their stats that you have. They have kind of revealed now by doing it, is they have the stat not what it seems.
Nice. I have a couple other mechanical questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Can we know how many stats they have?
Yeah, they have 3 in total.
Okay. And second, third out of character question: is he a threat to the world or a set piece?
He is not. No.
Okay. So I think unless Kalliban, like before Ossian howls, unless Kalliban has been like saying something, Phaethon's just been kind of staring daggers at him.
Yeah, Kalliban is watching. I'm going to have to slip away very shortly. Sorry, folks. I've got to get to the vets before it closes to get some cat medicine. But I think if Phaethon is engaging, Kalliban is going to go away and lick their wounds and will sort of slip away. away from everyone else. So I think very much Kalliban feels like he's been taken for a fool, and is not going to explode. He's going to go away and rage in the wilderness for a while.
Sure thing, no worries. And yeah, no, feel free to drop as and when needed, and good luck with the vets.
Cool. That's probably going to be now because I've got to get over there. So apologies folks, I need to leave early today.
No worries, no worries. See you later.
See ya.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, no, go ahead. I think we'll probably kind of like finish this scene and then wrap after that. Yeah.
No, Phaethon's just tired and angry. So he's just gonna he turns around and looks and sort of sees like the shadow stuff coming from the you said it was like the behind a like fortress wall of some sort.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think he's just gonna he's just going to like charge up a big ball of lightning and shoot it over there, and do not trifle with wizards for 3 damage. I don't care about all those secret stats.
That is absolutely fair. Yeah, so
and I will take 3 damage also and be exhausted.
Nice. So yeah, I think you kind of see him there up at the tower, cackling, and crowing about his imminent success. The guards on the ground floor are surrounding Ossian as he is kind of reeling from having his power sucked from him, and then the bolt of lightning hits the wall of this garrison. There is like an explosion of small fragments of stone and chips of stone fly all around. The men on the ground jump back from Ossian, and that section of wall just collapses, and the governor is swept up and buried amongst all this rubble as the wall breaks down. Cool. So Ossian, how do you react to this?
So where am I in relation to all this stuff collapsing then?
So it's just above you, though. It's around you, I guess. That you've probably had to dodge a bit to get out of the way of some of it, but due to circumstance, you've not taken the brunt of it. But it's certainly nearby.
I mean, I still need to find it's Slate, right?
Shale's father.
I knew it was one of the two.
Mayor Stonecliffe. Yep.
Yeah, I still need to find Shale's father. I think if I'm able to, I feel like I'm trying to like make sense of this collapse around me, trying to see if I can hear anyone calling for help, something like that.
Yeah, sure thing. So if you'd like to, that sounds like you are looking closely at the situation. So that's a roll with sense,
which I think is okay, but not great. Oh yeah, I just rolled more poorly. That is a 4. No, just a 3, in fact.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure.
You're not having good luck at the end of this
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, so you can ask one question from the list still, but you will find this out the hard way.
Okay, that's fair. Let me take a look at this list here. Pay the right. Look closely. Where? No, there it is. I guess would like. Yeah, I guess the one I'm going with is something hidden or out of place. If so, what looks suspicious?
Yeah, sure thing. So I think that yes, something is hidden. Something is hidden or out of place. And I think what it is basically, and I think this is a fairly straightforward and kind of answers how you find out the hard way as well, is that as you head into the garrison to look for him, you will quickly be aware that the legionnaires here were preparing an ambush. This was a setup essentially, and you will find that. You will find that out in the classic way of discovering an ambush by the guards getting the drop on you. So
Yep.
if you can mark a harm as they.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What is okay for me to have harmed right now? Sure. I'll mark sense. I know where he is now. I don't need sense anymore.
But yeah, and you will find because like I said, this isn't like a huge fortress or anything like that. Mayor Stonecliffe is here. He's in like there's a sort of a series of cages along one wall rather than a kind of a full-on dungeon, and he is in one of those. So you will have located him, but yes, you have been jumped by a group of Imperial soldiers inside. Phaethon, are you so like I said, the guards outside are probably reeling a bit at this stage. They're not really putting up much of an opposition anymore, but you have just seen Ossian going inside the garrison itself. What do you do?
Ossian is now I'm mixing up the names. Phaethon is gonna kind of stumble his way into the encampment and follow to where he saw Ossian. He's sizzling a little bit after the and in general is just very, very tired.
Yeah. And yeah, as you sort of, and you will see, obviously the same scene of Ossian being surrounded by these guardsmen inside the garrison.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say, let him go. I can make you, but I'm tired and I don't want to, so just let him go.
Awesome. I think I'm going to let you attempt to finish them with that. I think they have just seen, obviously, like a large section of this building be consumed in a giant ball of lightning. So I think that they are in a position where you can get them to back down. This is probably going to be finishing them with probably with courage, to be honest.
All right. That works for me.
Courage, I think, is probably the closest.
All right. I do roll with despair because, but courage is a good stat for me. But yeah, I roll with despair because I'm exhausted.
Although I am going to say that I think you probably because Ossian is also here, I think you can probably roll. You do still have a bond, don't you? The two of you.
Yeah, we do.
So yeah, you will be.
Does that
rolling.
Cancel out?
Yeah, that will cancel out the despair essentially.
All right, I already rolled 3 dice, so I'll just re-roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, it's saying that's a 4. I rolled 2 4s, but it looks like it only re-rolled one of them. But that would I can try re-rolling it again.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Would be an 8 plus 2 is 10.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think they just they do that sort of thing of they're just sort of moving in on Ossian. Their eyes go to you, to the big hole in the wall where they know their boss is buried. Back to Ossian, back to you, and they just drop their swords, raise their hands, and back out of the hole in the wall.
You good?
Perhaps.
Sweet. And Phaethon is just kind of gonna fall on his face.
Excellent. And I think actually I'm happy to leave things there. We can do a little bit of wrap up next
I do
time.
want to just add to the image.
Yep,
My little cat just jumps out, like walks over to Phaethon, like sniffs at him for a bit, and then just kind of like sits down, like curls up on the back of his head.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll stop our recording now.